Hi there. Thanks for stopping by to see what Keith says. Just a short one here today. I was outside the other night, had a beautiful rainstorm, and just love it here in Middle Tennessee. The rain, the clouds. In 3 months, we've had 19 inches of rain. I've never seen that much rain in my life in Arizona, but here we get a lot of rain, and it was beautiful. And it was dark outside, and the clouds were still heavy, and it was misting a little bit. And as I looked up, I saw the moon, and I had to take a picture. Here it is. Now you'll see that the moon is kind of hazy and kind of covered over, but it's still reflecting light. Now, that's an interesting thought, because the moon doesn't reflect light on itself. It only reflects what is bounced off of it, what it gains. One of the things I was reading says that a moon reflects the sun as we are the reflection of God's light and His glory. The moon reflects the fullness of the sun. By itself, it's dark, not shining anything. It's just a rock flying through space. But when it gets the reflection, when it gets the focus of the sun, when the fullness of the sun hits it, it reflects that light, and we have that blessing of that here on earth. I don't think the sun reflecting it has anything to do with the tides or anything that the moon does. That's gravity. That's a different story. But the point is that the reflection of the sun on the moon gives us nighttime night. It gives us nighttime night. It gives us nighttime light, and it blesses us in the dark. And that's what just really in my mind as I was thinking about that, I thought, well, that's what we're to do. You know, I mean, how many times have you said, we're to be an example and so on and so forth. But listen to Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, the sun is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of His being, sustaining all things by His powerful word. Now, that's a pretty powerful statement, that Jesus is the reflection of all things that God is, everything. In one of the references I was looking at about when it talks about the brilliance of God and the radiance of God, both of them meaning the same thing, that it's the power of light. It's the thing that breaks through the darkness of, whether it's the darkness of spirit or darkness in physical light. It's still the light of God breaks through. It can break through any of that, spiritual or natural. That's what God is all about. He created light in the darkness. He saw darkness and He said, let there be light. And it wasn't the moon, it was just His word. And His word does it. Now, said all that to say this. I heard a young lady the other day, and she was making a statement about how pitiful she felt. And I hate to say it that way, but that's just the way it was. All of her words and everything boiled down to one thing: was felt like she was alone. She didn't like her job. She didn't like her house. She didn't like her car. There was nothing that fit in her life. She was just pitiful. And she was just complaining to anybody who would listen. What a sad state. She knows the Lord. I know she does. But she doesn't really grasp a hold of the benefits that comes in really knowing the Lord. I would venture to say she probably does not spend time in the Word. I don't know her that well. But if we don't spend time in the Word, if we don't start the day with the Word of God is powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, and it'll cut through anything in your life, any darkness, it'll cut through. Any situation that you're having to fight through, you can find the answers in the Word. It'll give you direction and guidance. And when you do that, you get it in you, you're receiving the fullness of the light that God has. And then when you go out and you're around other people, that reflects off of you. The sun has reflected in you, and now it's reflecting out of you. And you will be a blessing to people wherever you go. I was going down the aisle in Home Depot the other day, and the guy was walking down towards me, and I'm not paying any attention to him. I'm just looking for what I was trying to find. And he walked up and slowed down. He said, "Hey, how are you?" I said, "Good." Now, he might have thought I was somebody else that he knew or not, but I said, "I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you are too." "Yeah, I am." "Okay, good to see you." And he walked on. Now, I don't know, but how many times has that happened to me? I can't even tell you how many times people have smiled at me, nodded, shaken their heads, said hi, whatever. And my wife says it's because when I'm walking, when I'm going, I may be thinking, but a lot of times it's because I'm smiling. And I don't even think about it. I just, in my spirit, I'm smiling. There's a glow that comes. And I'm not saying, look at me, how precious. I'm just saying that's something that happens in my life. And one of the guys the other day at the same place at the Home Depot, I was returning something, and a fellow was waiting on me, and he was the manager of the return area, and he was kind of having it rough that day, I could tell. And so I was just, being nice to him, nothing special, just being nice. And finally he was just, oh, and I said, "I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I hope I didn't add to it." He goes, No. He said, You're easy. He said, "What you've done is easy. You brought me all the information I needed. This is fine." He said, "It's just when you get my age," he said, "sometimes things just pile up on you and you just wear out." And I said, "Well, how old are you? You don't look that old to me." And he said, I'm 72, man." He says, I'm over the hill. And I said, "Oh man, don't even say that." I said, "I'm 70 and I'm not over the hill. I've still got life." And he looked at me and he said, "You're not 70. He said, "You're about 56. And I said, "No, sir." I said, "I wish I was 56. That means I'd have a whole lot more going. But I'm 70, but I've got life. I've got joy." And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "I can tell you got joy." I said, "Hey, it's the joy of the Lord. It's not something I do. It's the joy of the Lord in my life. I make sure I've got the joy in my heart." And he goes, "Well, it's obvious you do." And I was like, when I left, I thought, oh man. And I talked to him some more and was kind to him and tried to encourage him. And I was a reflection of the sun on his life. And that's what we've got to do. I try to do it everywhere I go. I walk the dog out here around our apartment complex, and there's all kinds of people around here. And there's one poor guy that comes by, and every time I see him now, he goes across the street, goes to the other way, because I always try to encourage him. And he's a pitiful man. He's not that old. He's not. I don't know how old he is, but he looks old because in his spirit, his attitude. And I try to encourage him, and he just doesn't want to be encouraged. Well, there's some people like that, and that's what they have to deal with, and I'm sorry for it. But there's a lot of other people that I go and smile and encourage and talk to, and they're blessed and they're encouraged. It's not because of Keith. It's because of the joy of the Lord that's within me and what the Lord gives me to speak out. I've told you before, Charles Capp says a deal he put years ago while he was still alive here on earth. He had a sayings called the Confessions of Faith. And if you confess each one of these scriptures out, it takes about 15 minutes to do it. Well, I got it on recording, and then I got it on paper. And so a lot of times I sit and record those when I was eating lunch or something. I would be playing that and listen to that again. And at least once a day, I have either that one or some of the other ones that I've gotten off of YouTube and some other places that are just encouraging scriptures again and again and again and again. When you get that in your spirit, then it reflects out of you. And you, like the moon, doesn't matter how many clouds are around you, doesn't matter whether it's raining around you or what the situation is, the joy of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, the reflection of the Lord will reflect out of you, and you'll be the light for somebody else, just like the moon was that night for me. I encourage you to reflect the joy of the Lord, reflect the Spirit of the Lord, reflect the glory of the Lord, reflect any part of the Lord that you can, because He's there for you so you can be a blessing to somebody else. Bless you. Thanks for stopping by. Love you. Till next time. Bye-bye.